Welcome everyone to Proverbs chapter 10 Bible study. I haven't actually chosen a song yet, so first we'll open up with prayer and then I will choose a song. Dear Lord, just thank you for us being here today. Thank you for us giving us the opportunity to learn more about you and get closer to you and understand why your words express the way it is and why we need to apply it to our lives to get closer to you, Lord Jesus. Thank you again, Jesus, for everyone that's going to be watching. Thank you again for this beautiful day, and I give this day and this lesson back to you, Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Welcome, Mr. Brett. Very good. Like I said before, I haven't actually chosen a song, so let's choose it now. And no, I have not actually read the chapter either before coming here, but that's okay. We shall see how it goes. I don't think I've done Not Afraid before. Have I done Not Afraid? Let's have a look. Instagram, go to my videos. Maybe I should put the songs in my comment section, just so I know what songs I've done. What did I do last week? Everyone to this in your life. Nope, wasn't that one. Welcome. Hide me in your. Nope. Why is it awkward? You're just singing lots of these, not singing sort of thing. So. And you say. Nope. Do. Nope. Bear with me, please. Who else is watching? Jesse, welcome. How you doing? I'm just trying to see if I've done a song before. Nope. Welcome to another. I don't want to do a song that I've already done before because that would be awkward. So if you're watching this later, feel free to skip to the actual song rather than me searching for a song. And I can't remember what the first one I did actually. Okay, good. So I can do this song because we haven't done it before. Oh, how exciting. Just mentally preparing myself for it. Okay. I have this confidence because I've seen the faithfulness of God, the still inside the storm, the promise of the shore. I trust the power of your word, enough to seek your kingdom first, beyond the barren place, beyond the ocean waves. When I walk through the waters, I won't be overcome. When I go through the rivers, I will not be drowned. My God will make a way, so I am not afraid. You keep the promises you make. There isn't one that is delayed, so I will not lose heart. Here I will lift my arms and start to sing into the night. When I walk through the waters, I won't be overcome when I go through the rivers. I will not be drowned. My God will make a way, so I am not afraid. When I am in the fire, I will not feel the flame. I'll stand before the giant, declaring victory. My God will make a way, so I am not afraid. When I walk through the waters, I won't be overcome. When I go through the rivers, I will not be drowned. My God will make a way, so I am not afraid. When I am in the fire, I will not feel the flame. I'll stand before the giant, declaring victory. My God will make a way, so I am not afraid. Before me, behind me, always beside me, no shadow, no valley where you won't find me. No, I am not afraid. Behind me, always beside me, no shadow, no valley where you won't find me. No, I am not afraid. No, I am not afraid. My God will make a way, so I am not afraid. No, I'm not. No, I am not afraid. Welcome everyone that's watching. Alright, so yeah, Proverbs chapter 10. Boom, 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 boom. Whoops, awkward. Wrong app. Alright, here we go. It's only 32 verses. Pretty good. Alright, so last week I'm pretty sure we're talking about, again, wisdom was giving her advice and telling us to be aware of lady called folly. So again, order chaos. If you do not remember, go have a look and listen back to that one. So this one, chapter 10, Proverbs of Solomon. Here we go. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise child brings joy to a father. A foolish child brings grief to a mother. Trying to think of how many people I know that are quite foolish and have brought their mothers quite a lot of grief. Me included. I'm not excluded from that list. Tainted wealth has no lasting value, but right living can save your life. The Lord will not let the godly go hungry, but he refuses to satisfy the craving of the wicked. Now, as much as that is true, like, God will not let the godly go hungry, but he refuses to satisfy the craving of the wicked. We can actually fall into that trap that if we think, oh, we're godly, or that, we go to church and we think we're godly, and so God will not let us go hungry. But sometimes we can deceive ourselves into thinking that we are not wicked, that we will be, we are godly, so to speak. We sort of give ourselves that entitled, or that title, and sort of step out of humility, and we think that we're righteous, or we're holy, or we're godly, etc. But it's always good to readjust or reflect, bring self-awareness to our hearts and really go, am I doing things selfishly? Am I getting upset when things don't go my way? Even am I getting upset that people are in my way when I'm driving or when I'm walking? Like, is it really my way? When I'm just another human being experiencing the world, it's not really, in a sense, my way. So it's always good to bring, and I guess in a sense, if you catch yourself going hungry, not getting enough financial income or something like that, it's good to just self-reflect and go, am I acting out of my own selfish, wicked heart? So that's a good one that I always try to, that verse just brought it on. Continuing on. Verse 4. Lazy people are soon poor, hard workers get rich. A wise youth harvests in the summer, but one who sleeps during harvest is a disgrace. The godly are showered with blessings. The words of the wicked conceal violent intentions. Hello, welcome. We have happy memories of the godly, but the name of a wicked person rots away. The wise are glad to be instructed, but babbling fools fall flat on their faces. People with integrity walk safely, but those who follow crooked paths will be exposed. I just thought of someone that is in the community who I've had previous dealings with, and I'm not sure what kind of person they are now. I haven't really had much to do with them, but they did not live with integrity in their own lifestyle and also in their business. So their business is their reputation is tarnished, and their crooked ways, their crooked paths were exposed many a times. That there have been repercussions and consequences with himself, within the community. So again, it's just interesting to see how truthful these verses are, and when you can reflect and go, was I like that? Am I like that? Or you can realize it in people within the community that you know. So it's just interesting. People who wink at wrong cause trouble, but a bold reproof promotes peace. And I guess that's within, with business. A lot of businesses, you hear how people will rip people off, and when it says people who wink at wrong cause, it's like, don't let anyone know that, this is just between us sort of thing. But when there's a discord, or there's something goes wrong between the relationship, they can then start blackmailing each other. There's now even more destruction or more chaos within that relationship, and then within the whole community, because people's reputations are tarnished. But then it says here, but a bold reproof promotes peace. When there's honesty from the start, when there's integrity from the start of relationships, then or even when there is a discord and you bring truth and honesty and correct the situation, there's much more future peace. There's much more peace in the future to avoid more turmoil or avoid more chaos and destruction and tarnishing of reputations, etc. So it's always best to be honest, always best to be lead with integrity, or live a life with integrity. Continuing on, the words of the words of the godly are life-giving. I'm not saying it right. The words of the godly are a life-giving fountain. The words of the wicked conceal violent intentions. When it says violent intentions, it's basically saying, well, how I'm interpreting it is, because the words of the wicked, the wicked, they've got a wicked heart, and they're living life selfishly. They want their intentions is to use people, and I've come across people like this, especially in business. They will they want to know what they can get out of you more than anything, and how much they can get out of you at a cheaper cost or for free. And you soon catch out that their words are misleading, they're dishonest, they're avoidant of confrontation, or when they're being called out, then they sort of ghost you. So their intentions behind their relationships is only for selfish gain, which is really sad. And it's sort of, and like it said, the little bit sentence before that says, the words of the godly are a life-giving fountain. So can you imagine a fountain, and it's providing water, and you can drink from that fountain, you can thrive off that fountain. Whereas words of the wicked, sort of, it's like salt water, you could say. It doesn't actually give life. It sort of it promises life, so to speak, but it actually just slowly dehydrates you and kills you eventually in the end if you keep drinking too much salt water. It's not really life-giving fountain. It's a life-taking fountain, so to speak. Continuing on. Hatred stirs up quarrels, but love makes up for all offences. Wise words come from the lips of people with understanding, but those lacking sense will be beaten with a rod. So how many times have you come across people that do not want to commit to understanding situations or understanding people? They just want to put their point across. They want to put their, because they're right, everything else is wrong. And you kind of find it hard to reconcile any wrongdoings or any conflicts that you've had with this person, because they're just so inanimate that they're right, rather than trying to understand you. So it's always best to be like, you know what, let's walk away from the situation, and not deal with people that are irresponsible in that manner. Continuing on, verse 14. Wise people treasure knowledge, but the babbling of a fool invites disaster. Again, that's another concept of order and chaos. Wise people treasure knowledge, and knowledge is obviously what's happened before, and it's the experience of what's happened before, and you've passed it on, or you've got that knowledge or that wisdom from what's been happening in the past, or what worked and what didn't work, so that you can apply it to your life, so that you can avoid obviously the chaos that was encountered beforehand, before those lessons were learned. Whereas the fools, they invite disaster because they're just ignoring the knowledge and the wisdom that people have, that mentors try and teach you. Beware of this, beware of that, and you're going to fall. It's going to be really bad. You're going to be injured quite a lot. It's going to be hard to get back up, etc. So the wise people treasure knowledge. The wealth of the rich is their fortress. The poverty of the poor is their destruction. Just on that specific verse, the wealth of the rich is their fortress. The poverty of the poor is their destruction. And people could say, oh, some people can't help that they're poor. And I guess this comes to the mentality, and even some Christians will be like, you shouldn't chase after money. You shouldn't, save so much money. You should be giving it to the poor, etc. Which if you find out, like a lot of rich people do give quite a bit of money to the poor. Philanthropists, if you can, seek them out. But if you constantly have this I'm poor mentality, or I'm never going to be able to get rich, and you don't try and improve yourself or learn new skills, or go out there and put yourself out there and be courageous and become an apprentice, or become a work experience, what's it called? Internships, like free internships, then you're never going to learn skills to then be able to then offer to the world for you to charge them for your services. So if you consistently have this mentality of I'm poor, nothing ever works out for me. There's no jobs, etc. Are you making opportunities? Like it says here, the wealth of the rich is their fortress. They're built from the ground up within themselves a substantial ideology that money isn't running their lives. Money isn't controlling their lives. They've created knowledge. They've created in themselves the opportunities to get knowledge, to get wisdom, to get skills, to then be able to provide for themselves an income from their skills that they can provide to customers, because the customers need that, if that makes sense. And there's plenty of jobs out there. There's plenty of opportunities out there. You just have to look for them. You have to create them sometimes yourself. Just that verse is pointing out, I guess, mentality. If you go in deep enough, if you ask, why does the wealth of the rich, why is it their fortress, or why is the poor person's destruction their poverty, so to speak. Verse 16. The earnings of the godly enhance their lives, but evil people squander their money on sin. So if we're looking on sin, and remember, sin means missing the mark of what God's expectations are, or God's standards, or God's commands, etc. So that's what sin is. And if you're spending your money on things that are not of God, or things that are not deemed as, I guess, in His eyes, or you can say if you don't even believe in God and you believe in the concept, like you just have the concept of productiveness or building yourself up. If you're spending things on that are not building you up. So most people go, oh, why do you spend so much money on your PlayStation games? And they try and guilt trip you in thinking like, that's a waste. It's like, well, it's a waste to you. For me, it helps me, and I don't play them all the time, so I don't let it rule me. But it helps me to make decisions quicker, because you have to. You're in the game. And science studies have actually shown, even I've read the article about 20 years ago, that people who play video games actually make decisions quicker. And sometimes in life you do have to make quick decisions, especially in the work, in the business environment. And it helps me, so it improves my skills of obviously quick thinking, so to speak, and it gives me an outlet to just relax. Most people, they're like binge on TV shows and they'll watch a whole season in one day, and I'm there going, how and why? But that's their thing. If that's what they can do, if that's what they feel like they're doing. But can I challenge that and be like, why not one episode a day? Why does it have to be one whole season? Like if you go, like most seasons now, like 10 episodes, 50 minutes per episode, or 20 episodes, 40 minutes each episode in the season. And that's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to commit to something of a show that doesn't actually stimulate a lot of your mental thoughts and doesn't let you, meditate on what each episode is trying to teach you. Because obviously in each episode there's a character growth in it as well. So and a lot of art, most art, and that's video games, that's TV shows, everything you see on Facebook, everything is art to a degree, because it's all created and designed, obviously to have a story or create a feeling or emotion within you. It's all there to really challenge your life, challenge your beliefs, challenge your values. All that. But most people don't. They just watch it because it's entertainment, and entertainment's not supposed to be taken seriously or whatever. But it's unfortunate, it makes people miss the mark of that. So that's sin. No, I'm kidding. But the earnings of the godly enhance their life. So the money that they earn enhances their life. But the evil people squander money on sin. So people are spending money like on Netflix and all this, and they're watching things that are taking their time away. Like time is the currency you can't refund. You will never get it back. And if you're spending it on so much things that are not productive, or things that are going to corrupt your mind into thinking selfishly, or thinking that you're the center of the world, or that kind of mentality, you're missing the mark of where you're really putting your money. And everyone's like, there's a lot of, obviously development things, and this is one thing I believe is like, the best investment you can make is in yourself. If you're spending money on yourself to improve, so even going out and buying a $15 book or a $20 book on, how to overcome your trauma. Some of the books are like that. That is investing in yourself. You have then the ability to grow from that knowledge, from that wisdom that someone's passing through that book. So yeah, you want to be conscious or self-aware of what you're actually spending your money on. Verse 17. People who accept discipline are on the pathway to life, but those who ignore correction will go astray. And I think that verse speaks for itself. I don't really need to elaborate, but I can. Everyone hates the concept of discipline. Even now, and people grow obviously to the stage that they want. I pretty much said last week, I know enough is enough from my wins and losses, because I didn't do that great last week with my wins and losses. So I decided I'm going to write up my exact morning routine so that I can get everything that I need to get done. All those small habits to compound into massive results later on in life. I want to get these, and I want to get the benefits of these things now. I do not want to wait another 5 years to get my morning routine down pat and then benefit from that later. I want to do it now. So I stuck to writing a list of all the things I want to get done in my morning routine. And I actually last night I started writing my night routine so I can get all the things I want to get done as I'm going to bed. So I'm sticking to that discipline of getting it done. Great thing about my work is that because I've realized that my morning routine takes about 2 hours, 2 hours all up with the stuff that I want to get in that routine. The great thing about my job is that my hours are flexible, so I can arrive to work late or later to the appointed time that I'm meant to be there, or what I was initially asked to be there. And I can stay later, so I keep my hours consistent, but I can start pretty much whenever I want. Obviously not later in the day, because then the skin clinic that I work at is closed, so I can't obviously do that. So there is obviously some restraint. But having the discipline of trying to get my morning routine in and out of the way before going to work really helps me go, yes, I'm on that path to productiveness. I'm on that path to progressiveness, and that's what I'm going to try and stick to. So, and obviously there's a lot of disciplines as well, like going to the gym, trying to eat healthy, trying to stay away from media or Facebook material and stuff like that, to avoid the negative commotion from everyone's comments and everyone's judgment, and etc. And those are the habits you really want to stick to, steer away from. Getting my words mixed up. What's new? Alright, verse 18. Hiding hatred makes you a liar. Slandering others makes you a fool. This one's sort of like a little bit of a conundrum. If you're hiding hate towards someone, you are a liar. Especially when you're acting nice. You can act civil to someone and let them know that you, in a sense, dislike them or dislike their attitude, etc. And that's not lying. But if you are pretending to be like, oh, you like them and stuff like that, but really you hate them inside, then you are a liar. And that's just as bad as hating someone. And it says so if you're hiding your hate towards someone, then you're a liar. You're not that good of a person. But then if you're like, okay, well, I don't want to be a liar, then I'll just go out and just start, telling everyone that I hate them, sort of thing. Then you're slandering other people, which then makes you a fool. So you can't win either way. You're a bad person no matter what. Or your actions or your behaviors are bad. They're not that great. They're not progressive or productive. So I find that verse quite funny, quite hilarious. Too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. Okay, so I've talked enough explaining things today, so I'll just stop talking. But it's true. Have you ever noticed that some people, when they keep talking and they start off with one lie. They start off with one lie and then they've got to lie even more to elaborate on that lie or to expand that lie or to make that lie believable. So it's just like, you know what, just keep your mouth shut because you're looking like a fool the more you keep going. The more people won't trust you because you're being dishonest and you're not leading a life with integrity. So yeah. Verse 20. The words of the godly are like sterling silver. The heart of a fool is worthless. The words of the godly encourage many, but fools are destroyed by their lack of common sense. I encourage you, please go read productive books, please. The blessing of the Lord makes a person rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Doing wrong is fun for a fool, but living wisely brings pleasure to the sensible. The fears of the wicked will be fulfilled. The hopes of the godly will be granted. I guess that verse, hey Blake, how you going? So that verse, the fears of the wicked will be fulfilled. The hopes of the godly will be granted. And I can't remember who said this quote, or even if I'm going to get it right, but if you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you are right. You're right either way. And that's in the sense what this verse is saying, like the fears of the wicked, so the wicked people that are fearful, their fears will be fulfilled. They will come true. And the hopes of the godly will be granted. So the godly that are hopeful, that hope will be granted, or that hope will be fulfilled as well. Because it's your attitude, it's your perspective of things. The more you look towards or focus on the good things, the more good things you will get, or the more good things you'll find appreciation for, and you'll be more grateful. You have a much more bigger attitude of gratitude. I'm just mixing up my words here. Continuing on, when the storms of life come, the wicked are whirled away, but the godly have a lasting foundation. I like that because you can imagine, let's say you're a deeply rooted tree, and your foundation is set because you've dug your roots deep, because you know there's going to be storms in the future. You just know. So the wise thing to do is dig your roots deep. Really find that foundation where you won't be toppled over. Whereas other trees might be like, oh, there's no storms. There hasn't been a storm here at all. So I'm just going to put my roots very shallow along the surface, or, not as deep. And that's in a sense a fool. So when the storms do come, they get blown away very easily because they're not deeply rooted. They're not, and you can say in a person's perspective, they're not researching or creating a foundation of their core values, of their beliefs, and really understanding why they believe or do the things that they do, why they behave a certain way. If you don't do that initial research, or if you don't do that digging deep within your life and question everything about yourself, then you're going to be blown away when something does go wrong. Like, for example, when chaos hits, you have a car crash, or if your house gets burnt down, or someone in your family or your friends passes away, you're going to be lost and out of control, and you'll then feel a sense of complete disarray, totally lost of where you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to be doing, because that you haven't planted yourself and really researched on your inner self of what you believe, what your core values are, how you behave when you behave, and why you behave the way you behave, and what your perspectives and attitudes are in life. Hey Tom, how you going? Welcome. Continuing on to where was it? Verse 26. Lazy people irritate their employers like vinegar to the teeth or smoke in the eyes. That's a very great visual, isn't it? Lazy people irritate their employers like vinegar to the teeth or smoke in the eyes. I don't know if you've ever had smoke in the eyes, but it stings. It hurts quite a lot. Like especially if you get a lot of smoke, it's not that comfortable. It's not that great. Number 27. Fear of the Lord lengthens one's life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. The hopes of the godly result in happiness, but the expectations of the wicked come to nothing. The way of the Lord is a stronghold to those with integrity, but it destroys the wicked. The godly will never be disturbed, but the wicked will be removed from the land. The mouth of the godly person gives wise advice, but the tongue that deceives will be cut off. Ugh. No, thank you. And verse 32, the last verse. The lips of the godly speak helpful words, but the mouth of the wicked speaks perverse words. I think that's one thing that you can really be aware of, and it's in a concept, a state of a judging. And we all judge. It's a given thing. No matter how many someone says, oh, I don't judge. I don't judge people. That is a lie. Because within the whole concept of first intentions, that's a form of judgment. Even when, like I said before, if you like to be called you're a good person by someone else, that's a form of judgment. So we do judge. And we like to be judged, but we also not like to be judged negatively. We like to be judged positively, but we don't like to be judged negatively. Now, if you like to be judged positively, then you have to be okay with the concept of judgment, and that judgment is okay within life. I've come to the acceptance of I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. My feathers aren't going to be ruffled. I'm not going to be upset. But I'm okay with being judged, no matter if it's a positive or a negative thing. But I don't take it personally. I don't take that person's opinion or their judgment of me as Bible, or as most people say, as biblical or as gospel. I don't take their opinion of their judgment towards me as my definition, or as the definition of my life, so to speak, because my definition or my meaning of life or my purpose in life is not placed in their judgment or their opinions of me. Hey Leanne, how you going? Welcome. I'll give you a wave. Oh, you're gone. Okay. So yeah, I'll say this verse again and explain it more. The lips of the godly speak helpful words, but the mouth of the wicked speaks perverse words. So as I was saying, we judge all the time. And from this verse, you can sort of judge a person's, where they're at maturely wise, or on the level of, I'll say emotional intelligence or emotional maturity, is when how people are perverse. Now, you go to the gym, or, even within your friends, and they're like, so with males, and this happens with males and females, the male will go, oh, check out that hot chick, oh, she's so nice. And all their friends, I've noticed with some people, it's like, oh, and then all their friends do the same thing and just stare as this girl walks past. Or even the girls, and they see this guy just walk past, and they just stop and stare, sort of thing. And it's just like, and they're got this mentality, and they after the person passes, and they all look to each other and go, oh man, that person's so fine, and they all want to have a piece of that person, they're a piece of me. And that's perverse. That's a very perverted way of looking at people. They're not looking at the person as someone's friend, someone's daughter or son, someone's mother or father, someone's sister, or anything like that. Or, they're not looking at that person's worth based on them as a human being. They're basing their worth on that person's looks and how much they can please the person who's being pervertive. Or being perversive, if that's the right word. And when someone is being, in a sense, perverting, so to speak, right there in their attitude, it's not to build that person that they're looking at. It's not to build them up. It's not to help them to progress or whatever. They're looking at them going, oh, I would love to get something out of them. It's an egotistical way and a narcissistic way of being like, what can I get out of them? How can I make them satisfy my needs? When really it needs to be, oh yeah, that person is attractive. That person's quite attractive. And if you really wanted to, you can be like, how can I help that person progress in life? How can I help them be more productive within their friends, family, community, rather than being standing officially and being like, what can I get from you? And that's one thing I really dislike in a sense about one night stands, is that the mentality is, what can I get? What can I get from out of that? It's a very narcissistic and egotistical way of, what can I get to please me? Rather than, what can I do to please them? What can I do to help them grow? What can I do to provide them a better, in a sense, way of living of life? You want to lead them to water, not keep giving them water to drink. You want to lead them to water, and you want to teach them to fish rather than fishing for them and feeding them, if that makes sense. Anyway, it's only 2 sentences in that verse 32. But it speaks volume, I guess, especially with a core value within myself of wanting to be someone that sees people of worth, of who they are and what they are to their friends, their family. They're providing someone with support. They're being a benefit to someone. To help that person grow. And if I just see them as someone that's going to make me feel better about myself because I touched it or I gained something from it, then that's really just seeing that person of not seeing it of their true value, just seeing it as a piece of meat, really. Anyway, hope you all got something from this session. A very tough one, very good. I really like it. I love tough conversations. I love deep, tough conversations. I'm not going to lie. Now let's look at Adrian's. Everyone's asking probably like, oh, who's this Adrian dude? So Adrian D'Amico is a business coach, as I knew him from a few years ago. But he's got on here creative entrepreneur, and he's sort of like a life coach as well. And he's within the Illawarra community. And I like his mentality and stuff. Not sure if he's Christian or not, but I just like some of the stuff that he's got the same sort of mentality, or he's seeking out the truth as best as he can, and that's what I like about him. Anyway, enough about me trying to explain why I follow him and why I'm getting the 52 things for each week on his Instagram. But here it is, number 10. Getting knocked down is inevitable. Staying down is a choice. Actually, that's quite interesting because I'm actually going to be doing a Xander King reel, the next one, based on change and the resistance of change. So that's quite interesting. I'll say it again. Getting knocked down is inevitable. It's always going to happen. Failure is always a given. And if you're stuck in that fear of failing, then you're never going to take the risk to, or take the chance to be happy or do the things that you really want to do. So getting knocked down is inevitable. It's one of the great experiences actually in life, because then you learn, and learning is growing, and growing is fun. Yeah. My little dance there. But staying down is a choice. So if you see these people where they get knocked down and they're like, oh, why does this always happen to me? Why am I always the one that's getting the bad luck? Why am I this? Why am I that? Woe is my life. It's not about you. If you're having that mental attitude, then you're choosing to stay stuck in that mentality. You're choosing to stay down. You just got to get knocked to the ground and go, oh, I got knocked down again. Interesting. What happened there? How did I get knocked down? Let's look at that. Okay, that person took a jab and a hook, and I didn't see the uppercut coming. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to be aware of that next time. All right, let's dust off. All right, it's nothing personal. They haven't got anything personal against me. They're just trying to get ahead in life, and obviously they're doing it very aggressively, not aggravatingly, aggressively. All right, so how can I learn from this for the next person that's going to try and do that? Okay, cool. All right, easy. Let's go. So you get ready and you're prepared and you see the uppercut coming and you're like, whew, dodge that. But then you don't see the next thing that comes and knocks you out. Oh, look, a rock just hit me on my head. I wasn't looking up. So then you get knocked down and you go, okay, let's just reassess that. Let's learn. All right, I see that rock coming. Okay, so I've learned the uppercut. Well, I've even learned the jab and the cross and the hook. I've now learned an upper is going to come and there could be rocks. So I'm just going to learn all these things. And the more you learn, the more fluent you become in life, so to speak. So staying down is a choice. Don't stay down. Don't stay down. Learn from it. Grow from it. Things don't happen to you. They happen for you so that you can grow and not live a life of naivety, as Jordan Peterson would say. And the more you don't take responsibility for your life, the more you don't learn and grow from your situation, and the more you don't become, to a degree, independent of self-management, the more of in a sense, a hindrance or not a disgrace. Well, you're going to be disgraced to your mum, obviously, as it says at the first verse that we talked about. But you're going to be, in a sense, dragging the rest of the community, because you're not providing the community to become beneficial and progress. You're going to be dragging them behind. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Hopefully you really enjoyed that one. I actually really enjoyed Proverbs 10. That was actually really good. I hope to see you all next week. So yeah, we'll try again next week at 8 p.m. rather than me not doing it yesterday and having to do Thursday, as you can see. So yeah, try aim again for 8 p.m. next Wednesday, and I will see you all there. Until then, king up. Have a good night. I want to say hello to these people. And bye.